Hi, good afternoon. I'm Judy Moulton, and I'm here to talk to you this afternoon about the Yogi Living Essentials program. I'm part of the faculty for this program and also am part of the teaching faculty for the 200 and 500 hour teacher training programs here at the Himalayan Institute. And actually we've started just today, this morning, our spring segment of the 500-hour yoga teacher training program, which is Advanced Teaching Methods. And it's a really interesting thing to think about, this idea of what makes teaching, or what makes practice, even for that matter, advanced. What does that word really mean in this context? And so with these students that are here for this segment of 500 Hour, we've been talking about this idea, is that what is it that really enlivens our teaching, that sort of takes our teaching to the next level? And I think that all of us as teachers will periodically throughout our teaching career feel this inherent desire to want to take our teaching to the next level. And so what we've been saying in our program and discussing with our students is this idea that what really enlivens both practice and teaching and takes it to the next level, if you will, is this idea of pranic awareness. So prana is a big core foundational piece of what yoga is all about. It's this life force and intelligent, conscious energy, healing potential, so many things that we could say about prana. It's really at the heart of everything that we're trying to do with yoga, or trying to access with yoga. And so we know that we would like to bring that deeper and more subtle experience to our students, for ourselves, first of all, but especially to our students, and to expose them or introduce them to this deeper aspect of practice. It sounds really great, but how do we do that? So that's what we're talking about. Is we don't just want to say that we have this big goal of pranic awareness, but not be clear on how to actually do that. And so many months ago, when we were developing the Yogi Living program, we came up with this amazing curriculum for working with pranic awareness in a very clear and systematic way. This idea that in yoga we're working with sort of two main things: conscious movement, so moving in a way that's conscious, and this is what we do when we first start practicing yoga for the most part, is we're just learning to work with movement in a way that is not unconscious. So we're starting to have a different experience of being in our bodies, of being with ourselves in a way that's very mindful, present, and conscious. And then we're also working with breathing. We're working with yogic breathing, deep diaphragmatic breathing that is optimal, that supports the nervous system. And so when we have these two things together, this conscious movement, yogic breathing, out of that comes this idea of breath-aligned movement. And moving with the breath is something that you hear a lot about in yoga classes. All teachers are probably giving some cues around move with your breath, continue to breathe, let your breath guide your movement. So many cues that we can think of in that way. But what does that really mean? What does it really mean to move with your breath? And how can we take our relationship to conscious movement and yogic breathing and refine it and expand it even further? When we are able to do that and really tap into this deeper, more subtle dimension of breath-aligned movement, then there's this sort of natural outgrowth of deeper pranic awareness, that we start to feel ourselves. We feel ourselves. We are able to have this experience of being comfortable in our bodies, and we're able to feel more grounded, centered, balanced. We start to experience a natural inner awareness. So no longer is it stressful to try to have an inner focus, which sometimes feels that way at the beginning. But now this inner focus is just what's happening as a result of this sort of formula that we're working with to introduce students to pranic awareness. And so for me personally, I was obviously part of developing the curriculum for this program, but having this curriculum and really seeing it in this very clear and systematic way has honestly been one of the most profound experiences for me in my own practice, first of all, because everything that we teach comes from our own practice, but for my teaching. That when I really consider this idea of pranic awareness and how to get there in a very clear and systematic way, it really did. It did exactly what I said earlier. It took my teaching to the next level. I felt like I was able to be present with students in a new way and to really create this supportive, neutral environment for them to have this experience for themselves. And so I would invite you, anyone, of course, but especially if you're a teacher, to consider joining us for this 3-day program. Yogi Living was originally designed as a 10-day long-form program, which is great and wonderful, but we also know that it's not always easy to get away for that long, especially if you're a teacher and you have classes or run a studio. But this weekend program that we have developed is so just wonderfully packed with really the best parts of this program. I mean, it's all great, but especially this really concentrated information on practice for pranic awareness, on yogic lifestyle, on these wonderful deep dives on yogic philosophy and really the heart of asana and what is that all about. And so I really hope that if you are a teacher, and again, even if you're not, that you would consider joining us for this wonderful 3-day program, Yogi Living Essentials, coming up in June, and just to immerse yourself for those 3 days and really feel your own practice and then your own teaching move to the next level. So thank you, and I hope to see you then.